it's the pitching, and it's the fact that they were able to hold this team scoreless tonight and get that out of Ryne Nelson. Again, that's no, we put up the count for this series, and the Diamondbacks were able to do what they did with no Zach Gallen and no Jordan Montgomery going in the series against the Dodgers. And I know the numbers are a bit skewed considering that the bullpen starts or the openers kind of make
did you for the starting pitcher ERA, did you do Brandon Hughes and Joe Mantiply?
I have no choice. It's what I have to do. It's what my nature says that I have to do. But I mean, even if otherwise, I mean, Slade's numbers didn't look great, but Ryne Nelson's numbers today looked incredible. 5 hits, no earned runs in 5 innings. I know he got into a little bit of hot water, but I think that might have been the most impressive part of his outing, is the fact that when Ryne Nelson did get himself into some situations where it looked like it was inevitable the Dodgers were going to score, he found a way out of it.
Yeah, he really did. Just looking through my notes here, the Dodgers had there was a leadoff walk in the 2nd inning. He was able to work around that, didn't allow another base runner the rest of that frame. In the 3rd inning, a 1-out double by Mookie Betts with with Ohtani and Freeman coming up, and he retired both of those guys. In the 4th inning, you had runners 2 on with 1 out. And then in the 5th inning, you had 1st and 2nd with nobody out. And then in the 6th inning, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. And Ryne Nelson got Andy Pages to hit a little flare that, Ketel Marte made a nice savvy play, was able to turn a double play on that. So, yeah, Ryne just time and time again was able to deliver in those tight situations. And I believe the Dodgers were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this game against Nelson, which is obviously hugely impressive, especially given that a lot of those at-bats were Ohtani, were Freeman coming up in the biggest moments.
And I honestly, I think that, again, he had his moments where he didn't look exactly great, but I'm starting to feel like the pitchers for this team are battle tested at this point with the way this season has gone. And even when they do give up these hits, kind of like what we saw yesterday out of Thompson, where he goes out there, he gives off a leadoff triple and then strands him, right? Like, these guys are starting to not really get shook by the fact that they have runners on base, because honestly, there's a lot of situations where they've had runners on base. They've been nicked up, as Tori would say, quite a bit. And I feel like this team is getting to the point where it's kind of like that I ain't scared to die attitude anymore. I've been beat up before. I've had my ass kicked. This is nothing, right? So I think that's what's most impressive about Ryne, is how he was able to turn around a very bad outing his last time, out, and put this impressive outing up, and again, have those runners on base, but really bear down. Oh, I can't believe I said that.
Wow, you said that in front of Damon? Derek.
I hope he wasn't there. There he is. Damn it. Damn it. Get out of here. Get out of here. But he really did. He locked in, right, in those moments. I'll use another word so that doesn't happen again. But he locked in those moments, and I think, again, that's that might just come from, what he has gone through this season, which is, that's what experience can do for you.
Yeah, we actually have some footage of Ryne Nelson talking after this game. He was asked about the impact of coming out of the bullpen, as well as just what made him so effective in this one. Here's what he had to say.
The role, no. I think there's pretty minor adjustment of just when I would go out there and get loose and everything. I mean, I pitched out of the pen towards the back end of last year too, and had some similar situations like that. But more so just the pitch mix, locations, and everything. That was the big adjustment moving into this one, and I think that there's still definitely some room to improve on that. And but I think that those things are what helped me get out of some tight jams today.
What were those adjustments?
Trying to limit the predictability and the overuse of certain pitches and spots, and kind of just letting my pitches work off of each other.
He was hitting the corners today, Jesse. He had some great pitches in 2-2 counts where he froze a batter or two there. again, I think that's that predictability he's talking about. I think that does become a bit formulaic when you as a pitcher go up. You know, you're up in the account or in the count. You come in, you're up 1-2, and you're gonna basically throw stuff outside of the zone to get them to swing at a bad pitch the majority of the rest of that at bat till it's an even count or whatever, right? The great pitchers don't do that. The great pitchers just come for your throat. You're down 1-2 and they're fucking throwing fastballs high in the zone at 100 miles an hour and they don't care if you swing or don't swing at it. They're going to get you out, right? So like Ryne Nelson had some confidence in his pitches tonight, and I think that was because his command was working really well for him.
Yeah, I think tonight was kind of just a reminder of how dominant Ryne Nelson's fastball can be. The Dodgers did not have a base hit on a Ryne Nelson four-seamer until I believe it was the 6th inning. His final right before he came out of this game, he came up a couple of singles, neither of which were hit all that hard. So yeah, that four-seamer is just an absolutely electric pitch. And does he have a wipeout breaking ball to go with it? No, not really. The cutter has proven to be a pitch that at least tunnels well with the fastball, that pairs well with it, and can get some soft contact, can get some, even if guys aren't whiffing at it, can still be turned into outs. But at the end of the day, for Ryne, like when he's out there at his best, it's because his four-seam fastball, he's running his four-seam fastball right by guys, and you saw that a number of times in this game.
How frustrating is it, Jesse, for him to have an outing like this when he is struggling, right? Like, that's the thing that at times has to be, and I talked about this earlier before you joined us, that has to be so frustrating for an organization, because you see a guy go out there and do this and you believe in them. You believe in their ability to pitch. You believe in them as a starting pitcher, especially considering he was able to do it against this lineup for 5 innings, right? But at the same time, it's the consistency, and it just hasn't been there with Ryne, especially with his limited arsenal, right? If he's not hitting those corners, if he's not in command of that fastball and placing it where he wants to put it, then he really doesn't have much else left. And I feel like that's kind of the two sides of Ryne Nelson.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, as impressive as this outing was, like Ryne still has a lot to prove moving forward, right? I mean, his ERA still isn't real pretty, and he still has to show that he can do this not just once every 3 or 4 outings, but that he can go out and do this regularly. But coming out and doing it against a team as good as the Los Angeles Dodgers is a pretty darn good starting point.